Hey everybody, Hugh Brownstone with Three Blind Men and an Elephant. I'm here with Daria Donish of StudioBinder. And I first met Daria and her colleagues, Shant and Robert, about a year ago. And it was very interesting because they were a software startup focusing on modernizing the call sheet. Now, if you're a one-man band like me, I make phone calls. Turns out, even if you're not a one-man band, you typically revert to Excel or paper or all kinds of things. And you know about this because you're a producer yourself. So why don't you tell us about what was frustrating you, what you've done to combat that in StudioBinder, what kind of uptake you've had with it, and where you're going from here.
Awesome. So my background is I was in software before I was in entertainment. So when I first came into entertainment, the surprise to me was while there are softwares throughout the entertainment business that are largely pretty expensive in development, also for camera and in post, in the production unit there was a black hole. You find that people relied on Excel, eventually Google Docs, that was the big innovation, and that's it. And so because crews shift and change, there's different people and different configurations every time you come together to do something. The challenge is how can you bring everybody together on the same page, they understand what they need to do. Traditional call sheet asks the recipient to do a lot of mining for information. They need to drill down into a very, very dense PDF and find themselves, figure out where do they have to go, figure out where do they have to park, figure out what do they have to bring. So one of the things that we wanted to do was extract that information and deliver it directly to them. So when they open their email, the information that's most relevant to them, it shows up first. The call sheet is still there. When you go to it, it's live. So if you have some minor changes you need to make, some small changes that you don't want to blast to everybody, so that you're on your 16th revision of an email, those things are there. So really small little nuanced stuff that really will make the process overall extremely streamlined. The big one for us, which was an innovation, was confirmations. The confirmation process, once you've actually sent the call sheet, is a whole nother animal. It happens in the final hours. Call sheets tend to go out at the last minute, and for good reason, because you don't want to continue to bombard people with changes that are coming. So we wait until we have the most reliable information, and then we send it out, and we try to do that 12 hours before the call time so people aren't sleeping when it happens. But then at that moment, you have your exhausted production unit, and what are they doing now? Making calls, sending texts, sending emails to follow up with those folks to find out that they in fact received the information and will be there. So that process alone is incredibly time consuming. You're bothering people when they're already starting to get rest and they want to go to sleep. And so one of the things that we found was, historically, when you send out a call sheet, everybody does this. Whether it's in red, bold, underlined, you ask people to reply and respond that they're going to be there. For whatever reason, people just don't do it. I've worked in every type of production, and across the board, this is the standard. Maybe 2% of people will call back, will email back or text back and let you know that they're going to be there. And so it leads to insecurity on the side of the production unit and ultimately even the client. Are we going to make this happen? And so the key to that is, for us, was to put in a big call to action, which basically says confirm this. People like to push buttons. I don't know why. All of a sudden, the percentage of those who have confirmed goes up astronomically. So then you're left with this small pool of people that you need to follow up with. And within your dashboard, it's really easy. Resend,
It seems that at the end of the day, you've taken an incredibly important, behind-the-scenes, labor-intensive process and have said, in essence, dude, there is a better way to do this. If you're a 20-year-old filmmaker or just coming out of film school, I'm sure it's a no-brainer. It's got to be easy for them. In fact, they're expecting it because their lives are on their phones. I imagine for people who have been in the business for a long time, it's a little bit more difficult because it's a process that they know, and it sounds like it's such a stressful process that they don't want to take any time to change anything because at least they know that.
And I think that that's because some other folks have tried to help innovate in this world, but when you don't do it in an intuitive way, what happens is you have to be trained to then do this new thing, and that's an absolute stopping point for almost all of them.
So you had as a design brief to make this as intuitive as possible.
And also to breathe some air into it. I mean, these documents are in sometimes 6.5 font, okay? I mean, it is the most dense document, edge to edge, page to page that you've seen.
No way.
The second you open it, it stresses you out. And so from a design standpoint, this is clean. You can breathe, you can see what you need to see, you can expand, you can find more information, you can do all kinds of things there.
So you've been at this for how long now?
We're a good year and a half in, so...
and at this point, how many users would you say? How many people have signed up?
We have over 10,000 users.
Very cool.
We're completely international. We have probably over 100 countries, people from, so we're very, very blessed to be where we are at this point. And our users vary from everything from a photo agency or a photographer to episodic television to reality, documentaries, tons of filmmakers. We have some really exciting stuff that we're going to be unveiling after NAB that will convert the feature folks. Some features they've been asking for are coming in. So for feature films, we're ready to meet their needs exactly. So
it's so interesting. I write about gear. I use gear all the time, but basically I'm managing myself.
Yeah.
And I do that pretty well. And yet I'm using all kinds of tools to do that. Calendars and contact address books and all the rest. I really see the value of this from a theoretical perspective. I'm going to try it. I've got a short that I'll be doing over the next couple of months. We have a crew, we have cast, so I'm going to give it a spin.
Awesome.
I think it's really, really interesting. And I want to thank you for coming by and finding me in this morass of gear and humanity, because again, as I said at the outset, you really do remind me and people who are watching this that in the end, yeah, it's about the gear, but no, it's not about the gear, it's about the people.
that's correct.
Daria.
Thank you.
Lovely
Thank you so
to
much.
see you again.